everybody, this is Dan from Backpacking Adventures. I'm back out on the trail and I'm here with Caleb from Vista Ventures. You probably remember him. I talk about him in a lot of my videos, and you can't miss him. He's so bright orange. So I'm not going to lose him. But we're here on the Loyalsock Trail, and our goal was to hit the peak of the leaves. We're not sure if it's the peak of the leaves changing, but this is definitely, and I know I did this trail earlier this year, but this is one that I wanted to do during the peak of the leaves because this trail is very beautiful. So we're going to get started. We're on the western terminus, and thanks Robert for the lift. This is a point-to-point, so you have to get shuttled or juggle cars, but we're about to head straight up. It's about a mile up to the top, and then it's up a hill the rest of the way. So time to get started. We're about halfway up our first climb of the day, and we just came across Sock Rock. There's a little sign up here. I don't know if you can see it, but if anyone out there that are viewing this, why is that name Sock Rock? It's because it's a big rock. Is it shaped like a sock if you look at it from above or whatever? But every time I pass this, I just never really know why it's called Sock Rock. So if you know, leave a comment. This trip for me and Caleb is going to be a 4-day, 3-night trip. So probably splitting it out, probably trying to be around anywhere from 13 to 15 miles per day, depending on where we want to get to. But the weather for this trip is pretty cool right now. It's in the 50s. The weather's supposed to be every day in the low 60s or maybe up here in the high 50s, and at night it should be the low 40s. Not sure if it's going to break down into the 30s or not, but we're prepared for that. But yeah, this should be a fun trip. Of course we're going to get rain. I mean, it looks like it's going to rain now. It was raining last night up here, but can't really tell you for sure what it's going to do because every time I looked at the weather, it always changed back and forth. Rain, no rain, rain, no rain. So you'll know the weather at the time it happens, just like us. His native environment.
Such penmanship.
A lot of steep climbs on this trail. You're definitely going to work for it. Whew. All right, we're about mile 6. We're up here on, is it High Knob Vista? Is that where we're at? High Knob Vista, I think.
Sounds right.
Works for me. And very beautiful vista. It's one of the ones, the most beautiful one on the trail. But we're at the top. We're going to stop for lunch. I stripped down, drying out my shirt soaking wet. I'm going to take off this t-shirt soon because it is just, it's not hot out. It's just too warm for what I'm wearing. But we're going to stop. We're going to eat, relax, and then we're going to truck on down the trail. But I think the worst part of it, of the day, as far as climbs, is out of the way. So Should be good to go. Time to eat. We're about 7 miles in or so. So we got about 7 miles left to get to camp. It's about 1:30. And we were just talking about the leaves, and when we were looking at all the reports and everything on the web on what the leaves are going to be like up here, they were supposed to be approaching peak, so they should have been hitting peak during our trip, but they barely turned yellow. It's like really odd that that the large majority of it's still green. Through here, it's a lot more yellow, but that was one of the biggest reasons of doing this trip right now, and again for me this year, was to hit that peak of the foliage and to see the leaves on here. So maybe they'll change over the next couple days, or as we head north, maybe because we're heading northeast. We're started at the western terminus and we're going northeast, so maybe that'll make a difference. But I'm starting to see some red in some of the trees, but the hot weather last week, it was like up in the 80s and 90s. That kind of slowed down the progression of the leaves, so maybe that's it. Maybe next week will now be peak, but I don't know, it's still beautiful. The leaves are changing and still a very beautiful hike. About 3:30, maybe a little after, and we're about maybe, I don't know, about a mile and a half-ish from where we're going to camp. We're going to camp at mile 14, and that is pretty much the last spot that you can camp at for at least another 8 miles, because then it's private property. So, you know, we don't feel like doing 22 miles, so we're just going to camp here, and that's what I usually do when I do this trail. It's a beautiful camp, so I just hope there's nobody there, but yeah, I'm starting to feel it, man. I'm getting tired. I mean, my legs are, after coming up that climb, the trail has roughly, I think it's like an 11,000 foot total gain. And 4,000 of that is the first day, which we've already done that. And so probably around anywhere from 10 to like 11, around 10 miles or so is where you get the first 4,000 mile gain. So that's pretty tough. But the rest of the 7,000 mile or 7,000 feet gain is spread out over the next, 55, 60 miles. So that makes a difference. But I'm hungry. Gotta get to camp. All right, camp. We are at roughly mile 14. And that's it for the day. I'm not going any further because it's an 8-mile stretch of private property, and I do not want to do another 8 miles. It's about 4:30 right now. So we made pretty good time. We got water, and it's a beautiful spot. We don't have anybody around, so I'm gonna set up, and I am really hungry, and I really want to eat. So that's my goal for tonight, is just to eat. We are both all set up, and it's a pretty nice spot. I had to move because I hung my hammock. There's nothing worse than this. I hung my hammock. I was laying it to make sure it was nice. I looked up, and there's that dead tree, which I didn't think was going to affect me, but it was a clear shot, and it was leaning my way. So I got up and moved. We're by the fire ring here, but I'm going to go over my gear a little bit. I'm too hungry right now to talk about my gear, so we're going to eat first, then I'll go over the gear. And we did, and when I say we, I mean Caleb gathered some wood, and we're going to build a small fire tonight just for something to do. I brought my saw, so time to eat. All right, dinner time. I am starting off with an appetizer. Some beef jerky from Walmart. It's their brand. It's actually pretty good. I'm kind of surprised. Have an electrolyte drink, which is cherry from, I think it's, what did I say it was from? Liquid IV. Main course. It's Dottie's chicken and dumplings, of course. It's one of the best meals out there. I can't wait for that. And I have some trail mix
little pack, and I have for dessert Quest peanut butter protein bar, which are actually really good. It tastes like a candy bar. So that's my dinner for tonight. Oh, I do have for right after or during dinner, I have a hot drink. I have some apple cider hot apple cider to ring in fall. So definitely cooling down, so I could really use a hot drink. So all right, my dinner should be done here shortly, so I'm gonna eat. For this trip, the gear I brought, this is a new hammock. This is the West Rim. I think it's 1.6 hexon, I believe. But it's a the-other-end hammock. It is 11 foot, 58 inches wide. There's no net. So basically what this is identical to the West Rim hammock, or the Red Tail, just without any kind of bug net. So did get it with the Ridgeline organizer. So I'm really looking forward to sleeping in this one, trying this out. I had it set up a couple times. It's really comfortable. For the underquilt, I switched back to my 30-degree Phoenix underquilt. I think this is the Medusa print, which is really nice. It's a thicker material, so it can block a little bit more wind. I have my 30-degree solo quilt from Z-Packs, my top quilt, and the tarp is the standard tarp with doors. I didn't bring my big one. I was going to, and I switched it back out at the last second. But next couple trips, since it'll be colder, I'll be bringing my Palace tarp. I think this block a little bit more air and wind, and I probably should have with this because there's no bug net. But I'm sleeping in porch mode anyway tonight, so I don't think it's really going to matter. But and I do have my pillow way up here. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to trying this out tonight, and it's going to be in the low 40s. So since we're by water and down here in draft, maybe a little bit colder. Who knows? But I should be nice and toasty warm. I got my PJs to put on here in a minute, and yeah, we're gonna be good. So we're gonna hang the food, and then we're gonna start just a little fire, just for something to do for a while, and then it'll be time for bed. Look at you go. Man, it's always good to know how to make a fire out here. That's for sure. All right, we got a nice fire going. And when I say we, I mean Caleb, because he pretty much lit. I like supervised and just kind of did nothing. I brought my bellows, which are really nice to have to blow into the fire to get it, hotter and stuff. And I did bring my little saw, which I think I showed, but this is from Q-Wiz. It's like you put it together. It's ultra light. It's only 4 ounces. It's not meant for like heavy duty stuff, but I sawed a couple of those logs in half. They were a good 6-inch diameter, do you think? Yeah. Cut through there pretty good. So just for light duty, for out on a trip like this, it was perfect. So yeah, we'll sit here for a little bit, watch the fire, and at some point we'll be going to bed. All right, it's about 9 o'clock, going on 9, or I don't know, somewhere around there. But fire's out, and I am now in my cocoon of downy goodness, and it is nice and warm. It's toasty warm. So yeah, it's be my first night sleeping without a bug net. So I'm gonna see how that's gonna go. I just hope there's not a lot of condensation, because that will make my quilt wet. I do have my underquilt protector. I just did not put it on. I probably should have, but we'll see. Maybe tomorrow night I'll put it on. But yeah, so with that, I'm going to leave it. Tomorrow, we may push and do, instead of doing like a 14-mile day, we may actually do 22 miles. And then, so that'll make, and we'll still try to hit some miles on the 3rd day, so that way the 4th day is smaller. Because right now, it's planned that the last day will be 17 miles. So probably going to front load some miles tomorrow, get up early, bright and early, 5. Be on the trail by 6:30, 7 o'clock, and then just kind of pump out some miles in the morning, because it's a road walk. When we go through private property, but there's a beautiful area we're going to be going through, and so yeah, it should be pretty nice tomorrow. But that's the plan. So with that, I'm going to leave it, and I'll see you tomorrow.